Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Animation Fascination. I'm Marc Vibbert, and with me, as per usual, is did it wrong. Stanford Clark over somewhere on the screen.
Somewhere on the screen, yeah. Hey,
nowhere on the screen if you're listening. Welcome back, Stanford.
Hey,
welcome.
good to
back,
see you,
me.
Marc.
Good to see you too, sir. If this is your first time listening to Animation Fascination, this podcast covers the entire world of animation. If it is animated, it is up for discussion for us to talk about, whether it's a TV show, movie, whatever it may be. We're going to talk about it here. And this episode is kind of a little bit different because it's a little bit like a recap for the year 2024. Some of the stuff we didn't talk about that came out during the year that we maybe wanted to do an episode about, just didn't get around to it. But yeah, so it's going to be kind of a little bit different. So, Stanford, what are some of the? Well, firstly, how are you doing?
Hey, Marc, I'm hanging in there, doing okay. And good to see you, my friend. What's going on?
Not too much. Doing the same as you.
Yeah.
It's been a good year for animated movies, though.
It's been a great year for animation. I agree. Absolutely. I'm thinking of three in particular. Inside Out 2, which I loved.
Yeah.
The Wild
Did
Robot.
Episode on that. Didn't do an episode on that yet, but we'll talk about that.
We'll talk about it. Love The Wild Robot. And I'm looking forward to talk with you about Moana 2.
Yes.
And I'm probably forgetting some other ones, Marc, but those are the three that instantly came to mind.
Okay. There's a bunch that came out this year. So, I'll let you first take the lead with Wild Robot there, and I'll bring up the a list of 2024 animated films while you're doing
perfect. That. I'm not familiar with the source material, but I believe The Wild Robot is based on a book, and I just think DreamWorks is killing it with their animation. It is so unique. It's so painterly. But it looks so beautiful, and The Wild Robot was I just thought it was a gorgeous movie. Now, because I'm a cold-hearted jerk, I don't think I was as moved as many by it. But it didn't mean I didn't like it. I thought it was terrific. I had talked. I think you and I had corresponded about it. And I had other friends that brought him to tears multiple times, and I never cried, but I was always just in awe of the beauty of it, and also just the sincerity of the storytelling.
Yeah.
Honestly, for me, and again, I don't wish to be a jerk about it. I didn't love the component of the storyline where all the animals had to quit being Circle of Life and then get along in the cabin. I mean, I know that was part of the story and whatever, but I was just like, oh, really? But the whole kind of nurturing and motherhood.
They gotta live together. They're gonna die alone.
That's right.
They might be lost if they didn't do that.
Yeah. So that part didn't work for me, but still, it didn't mean that the movie wasn't just an absolute triumph of artistry and just great filmmaking. So happy about that film. I'm glad it was a success too.
I agree. Wild Robot was amazing. I was one of the people that found myself ugly.
It's because you have a heart, Marc. I'm just the heartless dude.
No, but yeah, I don't know. Like, I didn't even know that I was going to, and then all of a sudden I just felt it. It's just
beautiful
but
movie.
Like you were saying, the animation for that film was fantastic as well too. There's this cool thing, with DreamWorks has been doing between that and the bad guys.
Yes.
Where they're just kind of playing around with different styles for animation and following our main Wild Robot character as she becomes more integrated into the I guess the wild there. You can see how the animation around her becomes more painterly and like brush strokes, like the rest of the environment around her. Whereas before that, it's very crisp and sharp to like her like robotic kind of makeup. But you can see like it's very subtle if you watch it, as you can see how she becomes more like brush strokes and stuff for like her animation style during the course of the movie too.
Yeah.
But yeah,
really great.
I really enjoyed that. I think this is, I would like, for me now, between like this and Inside Out 2, I wouldn't be mad if this won the.
Oh, I wouldn't be mad at all. In fact, I think I'd be quite happy if it did win.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I typically, of course, I'm rooting for the Disney folks, but the Wild Robot was such an artistic triumph. I would be very happy. They would, you know, I think they deserve it.
Yeah. I agree. And yeah, it's based on I think there's 3 books. So it seems like if this one is doing pretty well, that maybe they'll do the second book.
They do some more. Yeah. Have you read any of them, Mark, or see them? I haven't.
I haven't.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. And yeah, there's just a lot about that movie that I enjoyed. The voice cast is great too.
Oh, terrific.
Lupita Nyong'o, Pedro Pascal. Which, like, some of the stuff I didn't even realize some of these people were like doing the voices.
I know, right? I didn't realize it was Pedro Pascal until I was reading the credits. I had forgotten, you know, maybe I'd seen it before, but
Matt Berry was the beaver in there. So yeah, I really enjoyed like him in there. Oh, Mark Hamill was the bear.
Yeah, Mark Hamill doing awesome voice work, as he always does.
Yeah. So you had 3 Star Wars actors in there then, because Lupita Nyong'o, Pedro Pascal. Actually, Matt Berry is in.
Isn't is he in
no,
like Clone Wars or something?
Probably.
Yeah.
He's done enough voices.
Yeah.
I was thinking of a robot voice he did, but that was in Fallout, so that was not in a Star Wars thing. I'm sure he's done a voice somewhere in a Star Wars at some point.
Yeah.
We'll come back to this if we think of any more stuff, but so I brought up a list and we can kind of go through some of these. And I'm not sure if you got to see some of these, or if I was only the only one that got to see some of them. But did you see the Piece by Piece Pharrell Williams documentary?
No, not yet. It's on my list, Mark, to watch over the Christmas break. But yeah, I've not watched it.
That one was interesting because it starts with them doing like the interview, but it's like it's already Lego, and he's like, you know, like after you film this, you should just throw all the footage out and then make it an animated Lego movie. And they're like, wait, what? And like if you watch it, you can kind of see like where it definitely seems like they did film an entire documentary and then went back through and animated stuff. So
stuff, yeah.
Yeah. And then like like when they're talking about things that happened, they can then animate those sequences to be like flashbacks and stuff. It was interesting. I think like it's a kind of like a cool way to like do a biopic about someone that's like outside of the norm for like of just being like, hey, we'll just cast Jamie Foxx and he'll play Ray Charles in this movie.
right.
Or we'll make or like stuff that like fits like the, you know, Walk Hard kind of formula of how to make a biopic.
How to do a biopic. Yeah.
We'll have to see if A Complete Unknown falls into that formula when that comes out pretty soon too.
Because I mean, maybe I'm speaking prematurely. Is it on streaming somewhere right now?
Piece by Piece. It probably is. A lot of stuff is on digital, at least to rent.
Right. I missed it. I missed it in the theater, but I saw a trailer for it. Probably when I saw The Wild Robot, and thought it looked so unusual. it really piqued my curiosity. I thought, what an interesting, concept. Interesting way to do a modern day biopic.
Yeah, like, well, between like that and then like the Robbie Williams movie.
Oh yeah. Now is
Better
that one
Man.
out yet? Is that one out? Mark?
That'll be out in theaters soon. I think that's also like a Christmas release.
Christmas. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can rent piece by piece at home right now. It looks like you might be able to buy it too.
Okay.
It looks like it's at least on those kind of things too.
The Robbie Williams ones looks really interesting.
Yeah.
Robbie Williams is a monkey.
Yeah. What if Planet of the Apes, but if just the main character was the ape, and was a pop singer. So, and then for piece by piece, it's interesting too because the filmmaker who made that, he also did the documentary, the Mr. Rogers one a few years ago, the Won't You Be My Neighbor.
Oh yeah, the one with Tom Hanks, right?
Oh no,
the documentary, the one with actually like the true, with Fred Rogers in it. Yes. I saw that one. I saw both of those. But
yeah. So like he's mostly done documentary
work.
So I definitely think that they filmed piece by piece, like as just like a regular live action doc, and then went back through afterwards to animate it. Now I didn't see this one. I'm assuming you maybe didn't either, but Hit Pig.
I didn't see it.
Yeah. Starring the voice of Jason Sudeikis. And with how long animated films came out, I'm presuming he did this just pre Ted Lasso.
Okay.
And I made a meme for this because I thought it was funny, because he's also in the animated series Hit Monkey. So there's, everyone knows that Doofenshmirtz meme now. It's like, if I had a nickel for every time Jason Sudeikis starred in a animated project that was called Hit Animal, where he did the voice of a character in that, I'd have 2 nickels. Which isn't a lot. It's weird that it happened twice.
Yeah.
But
excellent.
That one I haven't seen, so I can't speak to it other than I just know that Sudeikis was in it.
And Mark, if it opened in the little Salt Lake City, film market, I don't know, and I don't know if it was in wide release for a bit or what, but I hadn't even heard of it. Shows, but then I've been out of it too. So
yeah, I don't know. I think it had a very short release. It was also like a smaller animation house too, so it's not going to get like the wide breadth of release that like Moana or whatever, or the next one that we'll talk about, like Transformers 1. Did you get a chance to?
I didn't see that either. Was totally aware of that one.
Yeah, this one was another one that was unexpectedly amazing.
It was really, I heard it was really good, or maybe you were the one who was telling me that it was really good. Yeah.
It's apparently in the continuity of the other Transformers movies too. Apparently, somehow, I don't know if it's supposed to be like in the continuity of like the new ones, like Rise of the Beast, like the not Michael Bay ones. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, Chris Hemsworth is really good as Optimus Prime in this film. They weren't Optimus Prime and Megatron yet. It was
before.
It was pre that.
Yeah.
But this was directed by Josh Cooley, previously of Pixar.
Previously at Pixar, yeah.
Yeah. And I want to say, what's his name? Bobby Ruscio, also formerly of Pixar. And I remember like a few years ago, they had both left Pixar and went to Paramount. And this is what they were working on.
What they did, yeah.
Yeah. But this one was great. I thought it was like the cast was great in this. Like we said, it had you had Scarlett Johansson in there as Alita one, and then Chris Hemsworth, and then Brian Tyree Henry.
Oh yeah, okay.
And then Keegan-Michael Key was Bumblebee.
Right.
But this kind of felt like this year's, like last year we had the Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. Like it was kind of like a kind of like a throwback to like these characters, and there's nice subtle references in there to like past Transformers stuff. Just like there's like a nice little nod, and there's like he's like you've got the touch, you've got the power. So there's like a nice little like oh, like that little kid's not gonna get that, but like this guy over here he's gonna understand that joke to the Stan Bush song.
Yeah.
And it's a good origin story too, and like you can see like it's cool to kind of see the friendship between the two characters of like Optimus and Megatron pre being Optimus and a Megatron.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I thought it was done really well, and like the stories is I don't know, it's just I can't explain exactly how it's just like really like you can feel like the tonal progression like as it makes its way through the movie, because it kind of starts off a little silly and then gets like kind of a little bit darker and darker and darker as it goes through the course of the film. And then you can kind of see like why like the Autobots are called Autobots, and why the Decepticons are called Decepticons, and why like like it doesn't suffer from like prequelitis like where like some films like with that, like why is your last name Solo? Because he's alone. But like it explains certain things like that in there. Or I guess the new Mufasa movie explains how Rafiki got his stick, which I didn't really need to know why Rafiki got his stick.
It's a question that's been vexing me for years. Not.
But yeah. That is technically another animated film.
I was thinking about that too.
But I have not seen it yet.
I haven't seen it either.
Yeah. I did like the Stitch teaser really quick though.
Oh yeah,
because we can kind of segue back into some of the other movies from this year, but because there was some trailers that we didn't get a chance to talk about, we can quickly talk about the live action adaptations of animated stuff. Because so there was that Stitch like teaser, because there was a new one too that was like they kind of hooked or put in front of Lion King.
Lion King, yeah, I saw it online. At least I think it's the one that they're showing in front of Mufasa. Yeah,
which seems like the kind of a throwback to like what they did with the animated Stitch. Where he's like showing up in
original campaign. Yeah,
different. Which it's funny enough at this point they could just recreate that.
Well, they should. I mean, if they're recreating the movies, why not create the marketing campaign too?
Yeah, because I mean, they did Beauty and the Beast. He was in that scene in the ballroom scene. They did Aladdin. They could do that scene with them on the magic carpet.
Didn't they do Little Mermaid?
Yeah, they did Little Mermaid. You could do that scene.
Yeah.
Too. I think that's all I can think of.
That's the ones all I can think of too. Maybe there was another.
There's probably another, but
there probably were. Yeah.
Maybe Cinderella too, but they've done that. I mean, they've done all the things. But and then they had the live action trailer for How to Train Your Dragon, which weirdly enough is kind of, at least talent wise, is somewhat connected to Lilo and Stitch. But the live action film this is like an interesting one too, is that it's being done by the same people as the animated film. So
they're just remaking it, but in live action / CGI. Yeah. Hybrid, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, because Toothless is still animated. just now,
and looks identical to the Toothless that's
yeah,
in the animated
now just
film.
more photorealistic, like as if
Yeah,
Toothless was in the real world, but like it's the same character design. It's not like
yeah,
made to look more
right.
like I
Like
don't
with
know what
the
you would make a dragon look more real, anyways, because
yeah, it looks to be yeah. I'm with you. Like, and it's probably done with lighting and with how they do the Toothless skin, or
yeah,
scales or whatever you want to call them, but. Yeah, he looks like Toothless. Same eyes, same body shape, and everything.
yeah, and
I hope this is gonna be good. I hate this practice so much. I just think you guys are so creative. You got so much money. Why are you making films that are great to begin with? They don't
yeah.
need to be remade. But anyway, what do you think of the trailer, and how does it look to you?
I mean, that was like one of the things I posted through our Blue Sky Animation Fascination account was I was like, I'm cautiously optimistic about this, but it bears the question of what is this live action version of How to Train Your Dragon doing that the animated trilogy wasn't already able to do?
Yeah,
Like
very good questions, my friend.
what does now making it in live action, how does that make it any quote unquote better than the animated version?
Right.
Gerard
Right.
Butler's even back as Stoic too.
I know Gerard Butler's back.
Yeah. I mean, can I get Jay Baruchel to be Hiccup again? He's too old.
Yeah, just do a CGI.
Yeah, just de-age him. There you go.
Yeah, yeah.
You've seen hair. You've seen here with the Rapper's Mix.
Yeah.
That I'm sure maybe Jay Baruchel maybe has a maybe if they do all three, maybe he'll just be adult Hiccup in the third one.
See,
because he is old enough to be adult Hiccup.
Yeah, yeah.
Just grow the beard.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, I think those are like really the only like this kind of standout trailers from those kind of things. Did you see If this year? It's not fully animated, but
I
there's
did not see If.
right.
How about you?
Yeah, that one.
What did you think?
That one was interesting. It's definitely not as much of a silly comedy as
As
the marketing would have you believe.
the trailers were presenting.
It's definitely another movie that is like, and I kind of like how John Krasinski's doing this with like some of his stuff is like between like A Quiet Place and then like this, because this is more or less like a way to like teach kids about grief and like how to process grief.
Yeah.
But again, like if you watched a trailer for that, you wouldn't be like, oh yeah, that movie's about a kid having to deal with grief and the loss of a loved one. But and that's kind of like what the whole concept of like the imaginary friends in that is that like any of the kids that like have or kids that outgrew these imaginary friends like have them at a certain point to like deal with some kind of trauma or something that they're processing, and those friends would be there to kind of like help them get through that stuff.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
so and like Ryan Reynolds is like the main like human like adult human character in it, and then Kaylee Fleming I believe is the little girl that's like the main protagonist of the film, and then you had like the all of the ifs are just like voiced by like a cavalcade of basically anyone that John Krasinski's ever worked with.
The voice cast is impressive,
Yeah.
for that film. Yeah, absolutely.
And like Phoebe Waller-Bridge is great in
fun.
it. John Krasinski is in it too. Like he plays her dad, and then just like Bobby Moynihan has a smaller part in there. Steve Carell. So you got a little bit of an Office reunion.
Does Jenna Fisher voice the character? I can't remember if she
Maybe, I don't
does
know.
or not. Yeah.
There's Sam Rockwell does the voice. There's Emily Blunt does the voice. So
yeah,
there's
all the people.
Yeah, all of them. But yeah, I would recommend people check that out. It's definitely but that would be the kind of disclaimer I would give to is that, like, if you're like, oh, I'm gonna sit down and watch a really silly, I don't know, like movie or something, like if that's what you're thinking it's gonna be, it's not. Like, it's a good movie, but it's just to prepare you what it's about.
Yeah, for what it's really about.
Yeah. And another one I haven't checked out yet, and I know it's a film that Skydance did.
Oh yeah,
the one that's Spellbound.
Spellbound, yeah. See, and I haven't seen that one either.
With Alan Menken did the music.
Alan
for
Menken
that.
did the music. Rachel Zegler,
yeah,
is one of the voices.
Snow White.
Yeah.
Now, West Side Story.
But West Side Story, she was so good in West Side Story.
Y2K. She was good.
Hunger Games.
Yeah.
That Hunger Games prequel thing. Yeah.
Our friend Alice worked on Spellbound too. So.
Oh, cool. Okay.
But I guess they had like a whole screening for that and got to meet Alan Menken and everything. So I would definitely like to check this out because the animation looks really good in it.
The animation is cool. And produced by John Lasseter.
Yeah.
So. Because it's John Lasseter's at Skydance Animation.
Did he produce Luck too?
He did. If I'm not mistaken, he did. Yeah.
I couldn't remember if he had produced that one.
At least I think he got a credit, and I don't know if it had already been in progress.
That was like during like the segue of time
when he got.
And this is like the first.
In.
Yeah. But
that's on Netflix, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah. And that one, like the story for that is when a powerful spell turns her parents into giant monsters, a teenage princess must journey into the wild to reverse the curse before it's too late. As you do. And her parents are Nicole Kidman and John Lithgow.
Okay.
So, because heartbreak feels good in a place like this. Especially when your mom gets turned into a monster.
Yeah.
This year also had 2 quad scrolls, if you want to call them that, like the 4th film in a series, because we had Despicable Me 4. Did you end up seeing this?
Yeah. Did you?
I did. Well, I saw most of it when I went to the theater. I fell asleep. Gru welcomes a new member to the family, Gru Jr., who's intent on tormenting his dad. However, their peaceful existence soon comes crashing down when criminal mastermind Maxime Le Mal escapes. Maximal. You can see what they did there. Maximal escapes from prison and vows revenge against Gru.
It didn't look interesting to me, but I know that it was going to be a gigantic hit, and everybody loves the franchise.
It seems like it's meant to be the last one.
Oh,
just because there's, without spoiling anything, like the ending, basically shows every character that's ever showed up in the films, whether it's
in the series,
whether it's the Despicable Me 4 main series or the Minions films, all like Sandra Bullock's character from the Minion films, or just like even Vector from the first movie, like shows like all of you see, like all of the villains from all of the films are all in this prison scene that you see at one point. I see Gru's brother again. He's not even like really in this movie, but in that scene, which is weird because like he was like the main kind of like addition in the third movie. So you'd think that maybe they, I don't know. I don't know. And I don't know if I was just tired or if I just was not captivated enough. But
Yeah.
I did fall asleep while I was watching it.
It happens to us, Mark, right? It just happens sometimes.
I'm getting older. Can't if I see a movie that starts after 9 o'clock, I will fall asleep. This one I did. This one I started at 7 o'clock though. So
okay, so yeah, and sometimes if it's super boring, it'll knock me out too. It happens.
And then the next fourth film was Kung Fu Panda 4.
Oh yeah, Kung Fu Panda 4. Yeah.
Did you see Kung Fu Panda 4?
It did. Yeah.
What did you think of Kung Fu Panda?
I like Kung Fu Panda just generally. I think it's such a fun character, a fun series. I didn't think that the film was particularly memorable, but it was just enjoyable to spend some more time with the characters. And again, DreamWorks is doing just some, I think, absolutely gorgeous animation. I didn't really care for. I didn't think the movie was anything special, but still,
just realized I called it. Yeah, I just realized I called it Kung Fu Panda. Meant Kung Fu Panda. But well, what kind of was a bummer too is that like the Furious 5 aren't in this.
I know.
Well, I mean, they kind of are.
They kind of, but
you don't hear them at all. They're in the end credit sequence.
It's just it's the Awkwafina show, and I like Awkwafina, but it just I don't know. It didn't work. It didn't work for me, but maybe it worked for a younger demographic.
Well, and then this is apparently supposed to be like the start of like I think another trilogy too. Like another Kung Fu Panda like with like her character as I don't know. But like this one is like Po must train a new warrior when he's chosen to become the spiritual leader of the Valley of Peace. However, when a powerful shape-shifting sorceress sets her eyes on his staff of wisdom, he suddenly realizes he's going to need some help. Teaming up with a quick-witted Corsac fox, Po soon discovers that heroes can be found in the most unexpected places. And like randomly, Tai Lung is kind of back. Like this was like another weird one too, because like where it kind of had like I was like, hey, remember these characters from earlier movies? I liked Ke Huy Quan in there as Han. I'm liking Ke Huy Quan like being in more things.
He can be in everything. All at once. He is fantastic. Yeah, I like him so much.
Yeah, like like they still credit the Furious 5, but I think it's only like because they randomly maybe play like a line of dialogue.
Yeah, they're hardly in it. Like blink and you'll miss it kind of thing is what it seemed like. But
I almost wonder if that's more of like a contract thing, or if like even if you're using like the dialogue that they recorded for like 1, 2, or 3, that you still have to kind of be like, they're in this.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess Mr. Beast had a voice in there.
Yep.
I liked Viola Davis as the chameleon though. I thought she was pretty good. But yeah, it was interesting that they brought Ian McShane back as like Tai Lung, and it's like, oh, now spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Now Tai Lung, like by the end of the movie, like respects Po. I was like, all right, cool. I guess he's already dead. But
yeah, I know. Not a brilliant sequel, I didn't think, but still, they're keeping the franchise going.
I think I fell asleep during this one too.
See, which I wouldn't blame you, because I can't believe I stayed awake. I was wanting to sleep.
It makes me feel bad because I really like Jack Black and I really like Kung Fu Panda.
Well, see, exactly. I mean, what's not to like? Jack Black is so terrific, and again, just the character is great, and just so fun to see that you have a panda do those kind of moves. It's it's terrific, in that regard.
Yeah.
But I wish the story were better.
Yeah, I also liked the Tenacious D cover of Hit Me Baby One More Time.
I did too, a lot. Yeah.
That was great. Speaking of films like this, did you see the Garfield movie?
I did see the Garfield movie. And
I will say I only saw the Garfield movie because Hannah Waddingham was the antagonist, and then Brett Goldstein was one of like her henchmen in it. So I was mostly seeing it out of a loyalty for Ted Lasso.
Yeah. I saw it. Steven Anderson, who used to be at Disney, he was a director at Disney. He directed Meet the Robinsons, and he directed Winnie the Pooh reboot.
Yes,
and
that was good.
Which is he's talented, and he's a talent, and he was like head of story over The Emperor's New Groove. I mean, he's done some really cool stuff. He was consulting and doing some storyboards for the Garfield movie. I saw on social media, and so I thought, well, I'm doing this for Steven, and also I wanted to put it in my own podcast, my Movies Past and Present podcast, but I didn't think it was very good, and I've never been a Garfield fan. Anyway, I mean, Gar is in all of its forms, comic strip and TV special and all the stuff. But I get frustrated with origin stories.
Oh yeah,
because
like his dad and stuff in this one.
Yeah, and his dad's like is voiced by Samuel L. Jackson. He's like this former
you didn't know Nick Fury was Star-Lord's dad?
Yeah, that he's like this gangsta, and it was just I just felt like it was out of place. Hannah Waddingham, her performance was terrific, and
her character, you have to give her a song too,
exactly, and that cat was animated in such a fun way, but again, I don't think I would have seen it had it not been I was wanting to support Steven Anderson's work and see what it was like. But
anybody that I've been telling to check it out, I've basically told them to check it out based off of Hannah Waddingham and Goldstein's performances alone.
Right.
It's what's kind of funny too is like Harvey Gillian in it is Odie, which I thought was funny because he played in the Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. He played the dog in that too. I was like Harvey Gillian's just, after What We Do in the Shadows, just playing a lot of animated dog characters.
All these animated dogs, yeah.
It has a kind of a stacked cast for it too, because the recently who passed Angus Cloud did a voice in the film. Ving Rhames does a voice. Snoop Dogg is a cat, because they're like, you guys get it. It's funny because Snoop Dogg's doing the voice of a cat because his name's Snoop Dogg.
Because he's Snoop Dogg,
but he's a cat. It's funny, guys. Lex Luthor, Beast, Nicholas Hoult is in here as John Arbuckle. Cicely got a few people from SNL in there too, because Cicely Strong and Bowen Yang are both in there. And that randomly Jeff Foxworthy did a voice apparently.
Yeah. Some of the stuff was just, to me, just was random and frankly disjointed for me, for my grumpy taste.
But it was all right. But I will say I didn't fall asleep.
Oh yeah, see, I didn't fall asleep either. The little kids sitting on my row, I could tell that they were enthralled, and at the end of the movie, they were they were very happy. So again, I don't feel like I'm the target audience in any way, but I do feel though it's a win when an animated movie can really appeal both to children and adults, which I know is super hard to do. But and plus it's Garfield, and again, as I said, I've never been a Garfield fan.
There's the next one, and we did a whole episode about it for Inside Out too, but I would definitely suggest people check that out. because that was really enjoyed that movie.
Such a good movie.
And there's a bunch of like smaller like straight to DVD. Like there's the Crisis on Infinite Earths 3-part like DC animated. And there's Thelma the Unicorn that was like a Netflix thing because I haven't been able to check out a bunch. There's also Ultraman, which was a Netflix film.
Is that on Netflix too, Mark? Yeah.
Netflix doing a lot of animated stuff. I haven't, and I also Orion in the Dark. And the Dark was another Netflix animated film with like Jacob Tremblay and Paul Walter Hauser.
Yeah.
And Colin Hanks. So there's like a bunch of stuff like the Ultraman one. That one just came out recently too. But yeah, there's been a ton of, at least between like Apple and Netflix, there's been a lot of straight to streaming. Yeah, the Thelma the Unicorn was also a Netflix one.
Okay.
Too. Oh, there's Self was a one of the like the Pixar Spark shorts.
Oh yeah.
Where it's like I like those a lot too. It's just because they're like a way to kind of play around with like learning different ways of doing stories and playing outside of the box with how the character designs are and everything. So, but I think the last one we can do to like round it out would just be Moana 2. But because that's the most, well, outside of Mufasa, that's the most recent fully animated film. So what did you think of Moana 2?
So I thought the animation Moana 2 was excellent. I wasn't quite sure what to expect.
So
I know we'll get into some of the origins of this film and whatnot. I thought wasn't crazy about the story or the songs, but really enjoyed having both The Rock and Ali Cravalho. I don't know if I'm saying her name right. I think that there's a real special chemistry between the Maui and Moana characters, and that was evident again having them together on the big screen. So I enjoyed, again spending more time with these characters, but I can't say that I loved necessarily where it took us, but still interesting, and just again a monster hit, which I didn't expect it to fail, but I didn't expect it to be the giant hit that
Disney Animation kind of needed that.
I was so happy Disney Animation needed a hit, and so I was really excited,
especially post Strange World and
Wish, which I thought were both pretty substandard. So this was
I like Strange World a lot.
A big improvement. Yeah, I didn't care for Strange World, but still, I mean, I wanted to, but I didn't like it. But I hated, and I hated Wish. Full out hated it. Wish is now truly like the bottom of my ranking of all the Disney animation.
Even under Home on the Range.
Yeah, and under Black Cauldron. Yeah,
dang.
Yeah.
Dang. You gotta under Roseanne.
I know, right? But this Moana 2, I was again very happy, and Mark, same thing. And not that only animation is for kids, although I feel like that they're skewing. I got a couple little stories before I want to share, because I'm dying to hear your point of view though too. So maybe we hear your point of view, that I can tell you a couple of my stories, because I'm talking too much. But
you're fine. I enjoyed it a lot too. I had said when I was talking to one of our friends that worked on it about like what I thought of the film, and that I had liked it a lot. And I said the only thing that I thought was like, and it's not that the music was bad, it's just that it would be like if the Lopez's hadn't come back to do Frozen 2.
Exactly.
It's like becomes inherent to like kind of like the identity of the movie. So like when when Lin-Manuel Miranda's not doing the music for Part 2 of Moana, you can kind of feel that. And it doesn't make the music that's in the movie bad. It's just that it's like different. And like that music feels inherently like kind of like linked to like the identity of Moana. That would, because I mean, that would be like if, like, I mean, they did do straight to DVD sequels to a lot of them, but like any of like the films that like Alan Menken or Howard Ashman did
Yes.
music for, if they did, which they did do sequels,
Which
but I'm like,
yeah.
if they, but like the same thing with us, like if they did continuations of those with music, which they did, and they were shipped to DVD, and it wasn't done by them, so you can feel how it's like becomes just, I don't know, it's like a roundabout way of saying that I liked it, but like the music felt different. And I saw like one interview that Dwayne Johnson did where like he said the Chihu song is supposed to be the "You're Welcome" for this, and I was like, oh, it is.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I with you. I thought that it was really missing the Lin-Manuel Miranda touch.
Yeah.
That was in the first film, and that first film again was just so excellent in every regard. And again, not that this film is bad. But yeah, definitely the songs were not up to the standard of the first one.
Yeah. There's some that stand out to me, like when I'm like listening back through to it. So there's definitely a few that I like a bunch in it, but like all of the first, like I can listen to all of the first ones, like
yes,
back to back.
Absolutely.
Like there's kind of like a good sequel song to How Far I'll Go for Moana in this too. Just feels just kind of like a continuation of that song, which is kind of cool, which I like that.
Yeah,
because you don't really get
that I think was the strongest song of the film, personally. Yeah,
you don't normally get sequel songs like this is the the next verse. Like if she kept singing that song,
if she kept singing
longer,
it, yeah,
that would be
the point.
But yeah, and then like we know how this started originally, is it was going to be a 4-episode a limited series for Disney Plus. It was mostly animated out of Vancouver.
Out of Walt Disney Animation Studios. Their site in Vancouver, Canada.
Yeah. So, and then with this, like to then turn it into the feature after they decided to do that and move from doing the limited series on Disney Plus and make, like, when you watch it, you can kind of see where, like, oh, maybe this is where like that episode would have ended. This is where that episode would have ended, and this is where that episode would have ended. You can kind of, if you like really watch, you can, like, they did stitch it together pretty well, but you can kind of see the
absolutely
seams a little bit.
Yes. And in fact, I think that the new characters that they introduced, and none of which I thought I hated or I thought were annoying. I quite liked them, but thought that would have benefited in a series format. The relationship.
They would have got maybe a little bit more.
Yeah, because
possibly more error.
I felt that was possibly a weakness of the film, was that we got all these new characters, but they really didn't get to do much,
Yeah.
Well,
and then like we did say that Vancouver did a lot of the early animation. I know that the Burbank Walt Disney Animation Studio then also like had to, like,
it was like all hands on deck, right? When they decided
like all hours
feature. Oh yeah,
to get it done by.
I can only imagine how hard everybody had to work, and it again, I thought it showed in the animation. It looked fantastic, because not that I was thinking that the Vancouver studio was going to do substandard work by any means, but I thought it was really going to have, again, more of a made for TV feel to it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just usually lower budget.
Yeah, which I didn't think it did. I thought it looked fantastic.
Yeah.
But
because and like the whole reason that like Lin-Manuel didn't come back for this too is because it was going to be on TV. And then, like, I think he even did an interview recently for Mufasa, where he's like, he even like talked about it being like it was going to be a limited series thing, and by the time it got turned into a film, like the team that did the music for it already, he's like, I'm not going to jump in there and like take away
their work,
from
right?
them.
That they've already
that was also why I like how like it got matriculated that like, oh, Ollie Krahalo and Dwayne The Rock Johnson signed on to do voices, and it was like that was this year, because I'm assuming they weren't doing them before.
No, I
when
thought
it was,
they were going to have different voices
it's
for
probably
the
would have been
TV
sound
show.
alikes, which they probably already had all of that stuff.
Right, exactly.
So that sucks for the people that probably did those voices for the for Moana and Maui for the the series, and then all right, but I don't know.
So, Mark, one of the things I wanted to mention, or one of the two things about this. So, in June of this year, so Disney Animation did a screening of Moana 2, a work in progress screening. They did. They showed in Salt Lake City, and a critic friend. I think I heard it from a critic friend, and not just some Disney email. But they sent invitation to come to a screening, and it was reminiscent of the screenings that the stories that you've told me. And they didn't say what the movie was, but in my head I thought, oh, this has got to be Moana 2.
Oh, yeah.
And what happened though? So I got accepted to go to the screening, and then like the day before, I got an email back saying that I had been uninvited. And
found out you're on this podcast.
Yeah, well, I wondered what had happened. If like, anyway, I still showed up, got in the line, and I thought I'm going to at least try to get in this because I want to go, whatever it is. Well, what happened was I got aged out, dude.
Oh.
So I'm over age 50. I mean, no shock, with my white hair, but they were not letting people over age 50 into the screening because again, they were just going for this younger demographic. Now, I have one friend who took her niece with her. So my friend was 50 and her niece was 13, and they let her in because she was accompanying the niece. And she ended, that's how I found out it was Moana 2. But she honored her NDA, which I admired. And I talked with her about it last week, to get her take on the film. But otherwise she was silent about it, which I admire, just like you do, when you've seen screenings, you keep it to yourself.
Well, I was gonna say I can probably say about it now because it's been long enough. Is that I had saw one for the first movie.
Oh, you did for the original Moana?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome, Mark.
Like years ago. But
yeah.
I figured that's long enough, and it's the first one now.
Absolutely. But okay, so there's that. So then immediately I was thinking, well, clearly Disney doesn't want my money, and they're going for a younger demographic. There's just they were being very, very blatant about that. And then the screening that I saw just here in Salt Lake City, the theater was full of kids, full of families, and at the end of it, the kids there was wild applause, and there was all this energy. So I think kids, at least at that screening I went to, loved it. They ate it up because clapping at the end of movies rarely happens, unless you're with a real enthusiastic crowd on opening night.
Or the only that's always weird to me though. It's like unless someone's there that worked on it, that kind of feels like hollow. Like who's that for?
Yeah, exactly.
No one's hearing that other than all of you.
Right.
That's why I will do that at a test screening, because I know.
Yeah, they're
there.
Exactly. And my friend didn't recognize any people that were at the screening. I would assume that the directors were there. I don't know if Jennifer Lee, you know, or some of the other Disney brass were there for it. She didn't, you know, my friend didn't know or recognize them, but still, I think the kids like it. At least they liked it in the screening, you know, I went to, and you know, and according to my friend too, they you know, a lot of changes were made. I mean, you know, as per practice, right? I mean, that's why they do a test screening.
Yeah,
she said they changed a lot of things.
Jeez, how long ago was that?
It was in June.
Oh, jeez.
So I mean, I think they've been killing themselves at Disney. I hope they're giving them some time off, rest up while they, you know, getting ready to ramping up on Zootopia 2, or you know, and all the other things they're doing. But anyway,
yeah, that is next year.
Yeah,
Zootopia 2. Yeah. But I think that's it for everything that, as far as like at least movies. Like there's been a bunch of animated stuff. This year, I don't know if we'll do it. We might try to, like, if people are watching this, because I'll probably just release this as this. But maybe if we can, it'll be weird just with timing this year. It's like to do the what ifs daily.
What
again.
if? I know
we're already 2 days behind.
Exactly. And have you watched any of them yet?
I did watch basically the Voltron episode from yesterday, and then I guess today's episode is the Agatha and Kingo, Kumail Nanjiani's Eternal character in Hollywood character episode. I was told that I would enjoy that episode a lot.
Oh, good. Okay.
But yeah, I liked. We can talk about it really quick. Is that I liked yesterday's. I thought that was really cool. I liked. Wish there's more Moon Knight, because there was a little bit of Moon Knight in there. I also wish there's more Shang-Chi. I do know there's going to be a full like Shang-Chi episode with like him and Kate Bishop.
Is
like
are
in
they like
in the Old West?
In the Wild West, yeah.
Which I saw Simu Liu posted. He's like Shanghai Noon.
Yeah, which I thought was clever and got me stoked for that episode. And they didn't say which episode it was. Did he, Mark?
Yeah, I just know that yesterday's was the Voltron Power Rangers Kaiju Pacific Rim kind of episode, and then today's is the like Bollywood Agatha Eternals episode. But I think they released. Actually, no, they did release. Here, I'll find it really quick.
Oh, they did put out a schedule, didn't they? I mean, with at least with episode titles.
Here, yeah. So, yesterday's was what if the Hulk fought the Mech Avengers. Today was what if Agatha went to Hollywood. Tomorrow is that one that we saw the trailer for like a year ago. What if the Red Guardian stopped the Winter Soldier?
Oh yeah.
The one on Christmas is what if Howard the Duck got hitched. Boxing Day is what if the Emergence destroyed the Earth. So this seems like we'll get like another Eternals episode. What if 1872? So I'm assuming that's the Old West one with Shang-Chi and Kate Bishop. And then the 28th is what if the Watcher disappeared. And then the last one is called What If.
Cool. And they're saying this is like the series finale, right, Mark? Isn't that how they're advertising this as well?
Yeah, which seems weird for like a show that you can literally
just do endlessly,
anything.
Yeah, but setting expectations, or who knows what. Yeah.
So I don't know. It's which maybe I saw an interview with Brad Winterbaum that said once you see the ending of this, you'll understand why it ends here. And then he said, for now. So
okay,
maybe it'll come back during the Mutant Saga, because we do know that Storm is in one of these episodes as the goddess of thunder. So we'll see.
I'm excited to watch them. They're awfully fun.
Yeah. Now, so I think that'll do it for us for Animation Fascination for this episode. for all of our stuff, you can find it at animationfascination.net. And animated podcast on Blue Sky and Twitter. It's not called anything else. Instagram, Facebook, all of the places. And Stanford and I are both at those places. And then you can also check Stanford out at moviespastandpresent.com as well too. And then me at richmondwaypod.com and holdopod.com. So there's plenty of places that if you want to find stuff out about movies or Ted Lasso or Star Wars, that you can go to said places and find it. But yeah, thanks for watching and listening to Animation Fascination in 2025. And if we don't do any live episodes for What If, or 2024, it's not 2025 yet. If we don't do any What If live episodes, then we will see you in 2025, everybody. So, bye. Bye.